Hi, and welcome to another very special reading with me today, Leenna. And today we're doing a reading to celebrate the arrival of my own personal copy of Quest for the Holy Pale. It came just a couple of hours ago, and I tried to do a recording then, and it just didn't work out, and I'm still pretty excited about it. And we're going to be incorporating the book in our reading today, which is going to be about your light and dark attributes of your future spouse. But before we get into that, let me just tell you about the special offer that I have on my Patreon until the end of September 2019, where if you sign up for any of the tiers, and they start from $1 and they go up to I think $15 or $20 per month, you can get two bonuses. So the first is one free mini reading with me, and that will be a Lenormand and or a tarot reading to a maximum of 10 minutes, and that's going to be in addition to the one that you get on one of the higher tiers, where you get the mini reading as part of your sign up as well. So if you sign up to I think a $10 per month reading, you get two mini readings instead of just the one. But also for every subscriber for September, every new subscriber for September 2019, you're going to get a subscription to the speculative fiction online magazine Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores, and this is especially for those of you that enjoy my writing and want to find out much more about all these wonderful stories that Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores publishes online. And they also have excellent artwork. It's been described as one of the most beautiful websites there when it comes to publishing stories. So do check it out, and do also look at the previous recordings in which we use stories from Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores to give us our topics for the reading. So if you're looking for your value for money this September, then definitely my Patreon's got something for you and for everyone. And I'd love to see you and have you there, and Cosmic Roots as well. And Eldritch Shores would also love to have you visit their site and subscribe either to their YouTube channel, the link is down below, or to their subscription, which is $12 a year, which works out also to $1 a month. So let's get on with the reading. Let's find out about the light and dark personality attributes of your future spouse. So you have the choice of Amethyst. You have the choice of this stone, which is being smoothed, I think, by a river. It could have been a fjord, actually. I think it's from Skye in Scotland. And then we have this Chrysocolla. Okay, so we've got option 1, 2, 3, or it might actually change as I go along. Just keep note of the stones that you chose, and let's look at the light and dark attributes of your future spouse. And we're going to be choosing more cards as we go along, and this is going to we're going to be adding some cards as well. So if you chose the appetite, sorry, not appetite, why do I keep calling things appetite? This is Chrysocolla, I think it is. Let's see about the light and dark attributes of your partner's personality. So let's look overall. So we've got worth waiting for. I'm just laughing because when I tried to do the reading before and got interrupted, this card came up, but it was reversed. So it's going to be interesting. So it looks like some of you definitely were going to watch or waiting for this reading. So this person is very patient. They can go through periods of impatience. We'll look at what this card says about their negative or shadow attributes. And it does seem like they believe in fate, they believe in destiny, they believe in divine timing. And they're the kind of person that would not act on anything or for anyone until they are absolutely sure that it's the right time. So I think it can often drive you crazy with them saying, no, it's not the right time, no, it's not the right time, just wait, and then suddenly there'll be all action. So, that's something that defines them, waiting for the right time. So let's look at their positive attributes, and you've got the 4 of Cups. Apologies for the lighting. It is quite a dull day now that we're going into autumn here. So the 4 of Cups this is the Frideborg Tarot. It's reversed. So it's telling us that them waiting isn't a sign of indecision, it's a sign of discernment. They made their decision, they just wait for the right time. They do actually know their mind a lot, but they may procrastinate just to make sure that there isn't something better coming along, that they're going to get the most out of whatever is going on, and that everything's going to work out to their or to whoever they're most concerned about, to their best in their best interests. Also, I think with the Four of Cups, they can, like I said, be impatient sometimes, but since we're looking at their positive attributes with this card, it's mostly about their discernment. They're the kind of person that takes forever to shop because they're looking at all the best deals. They're looking at the best quality. They won't just go for the cheapest thing. They will go for the best quality at the right price. And it's the same with relationships. They will wait and see what the relationship is bringing them, what the person's motives and personality really are before they commit to anyone or anything. And they have a feeling of an earth sign. And they're just very kind of slow and waiting. And it's not a bad thing. It usually works in their favor because of this discernment. So this person is someone who probably waits to see and gets to know a situation before committing to any course of action. So their negative or their shadow attributes, let's call it their shadow attributes, is the brazen head or the justice. So normally it's funny, this would be like reversed, but they are always, like I said, weighing things, waiting to see what is the best action, or waiting for the best time. And it's funny that it's only telling us this two sides of the same personality trait, where they, it gets to the less positive side when they're waiting too long, or the decision that they make is probably not always for the best to everyone concerned. So they could be at times selfish, and they could be at times reluctant to act if they don't have a plan, or if they feel it's not the right time. And this can often make it seem like they're losing opportunities or causing you to lose opportunities. So it's if you're playing Scrabble with this person, they will take forever to put down their word. So if you're not a patient person, it's going to be kind of difficult. That's going to be their biggest thing. Let's see more about their positive and negative, shadow attributes. So positive, we've got manipulation, and shadow side, we've got concentration. I keep feeling these should be swapped, but anyway, so the positive side of them having this discernment is that they can often work things in their favor. So they're probably an excellent negotiator because they don't allow themselves to make any sort of impulse buys or to do anything like that. They just keep their, waiting for the right deal or waiting for the right time to do what they want and to get things their way. And I think this is the thing, they're always waiting to get things their way. Or if they really care for you and are acting on another's behalf, they're waiting to get the best for that person. But they can sort of also adjust things or adjust their reactions to get the best, like I said, out of a situation. They may be in some kind of real estate business where they buy and sell properties, or they could be in stocks and bonds as well. And so I feel that financially they're actually quite well off, and they often just end up coming up on top. They could also have very strong Scorpio traits as well, but I'm getting more of an earth sign like Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo traits with them, probably more Virgo. So on the shadow side, their concentration can be so strong and exclusive that it makes you feel that you're not in the picture, and this can be quite hurtful. So they're not easily distracted from what they want, and this person, once you start a debate with them or once you start an argument with them, they're not going to stop. Even when you think it's the end, they're going to keep on going. They're going to, like 3 or 4 days later, you're still going to be hearing them arguing the same point that you started, on Monday. On Friday, they might still be arguing it with you. Also, I feel that you don't often know, or people don't often know where they stand with this person, with your future spouse, because they kind of hard to read, and they don't act and react in the way people expect them to. So they kind of, you definitely don't want to play poker or some other game like that with them. So positives, a little bit of research reversed, action reversed, and traveling. So they do a lot of research. They won't take any action until they know every single detail about something, and they know all these possible outcomes and how to react to those outcomes. They plan ahead very, very far, and they can see consequences of things very easily. So they probably would give you excellent advice. They also love traveling, and they love experiencing new things with new people, but only when they're comfortable and only if they feel safe. So you get a very strong Capricorn and Taurus vibes from them. So their shadow aspects, we've got deceptive new acquaintance reversed, at crossed purposes, and a new discovery reversed. So despite them liking to try out new things, they may be reluctant to at first try them. It's like they want you to convince them, and this can take a lot of energy for to get them to go to a new restaurant or something like that. But once they do that, they might actually enjoy it, and they might look to you to find out what new thing you're going to try next. They often will work at cross purposes to people around them, and like I said, it's kind of difficult for anyone to make out what they're up to. And it's not that they're being sneaky, it's just that they don't tell people what they're doing, and then when it comes out, it's a bit of a shock to everyone. They don't lie, and I don't think they would actively deceive, but by withholding information and by refusing to react, people may see them as being deceptive, or people may not really trust them as fully as they can or want to be. So let's look at Quest for the Holy Pale. I'm going to do a bit of, I think it's bibliomancy. This book hasn't been read. It has been thumbed a bit by myself and my parents. And we're just going to see what message we have for you about your future spouse. I'm just going to choose a random page and run my thumb along it. And then we're going to read that paragraph or that whatever it is. So it says, "You come to honor mother," asked the first troll. Emrys nodded gravely, wishing he could do more to help his tribe. They're home too. Though he was a little concerned, he didn't know what was required of him. So it could be that they put their mom first, and that they like to honor their culture, they like to honor their ancestry, they like to honor their parents, especially their mother, and also that at times they don't really know what this means. So they could be they could have mixed ancestry, and they could be looking to sort of reclaim some aspect of their ancestry. Also, from from your point of view, it could be that a shadow aspect of them is that they could be a bit of a mommy's boy or mommy's girl, where they always need their parents to, they always need to honor their parents, or they always need their parents' input into whatever you're deciding as a couple. And on the positive aspect, I think they're very respectful of older generations, and they're also very respectful of other cultures, but they are very much kind of trying to learn about their own ancestry and ancestors and how to honor them. So it's a bit of a mixed bag with this one. I hope it was interesting and that you enjoyed it. I'm going to put this back. And if you chose the Chrysocolla, that was the light and shadow attributes of your future spouse. I hope you enjoyed it and you would think about becoming a patron this September with me. And if you do, you get 2 bonuses. You get a free mini reading and you get that subscription to Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores. And the links are down below in the description box. So let's go on to, I think it was Amethyst. So Amethyst, let's look at the light and shadow attributes of your future spouse. So overall, we got let your friends help you. So they're very sort of gregarious. They like having friends and people around them. They may be very sociable. They are very close to their friends, especially a group of friends that may be between 6 to 12 people. And they, you know, they're very close. This could be a stand-in family for them as well. They're always helping their friends, and their friends are always helping them, and it could be at times difficult for you to kind of get in there. So it's like, if you love them, you have to love their friends as well. Also, it might annoy you that they always sort of ask their friends first, rather than sometimes ask you about things. And you know, there could be almost like a jealousy there sometimes. Also, they love being around a group of people. They may work in a place or in a role where they're always around people, you know, hosting people, event organizing, a tour guide or something like that. So let's look at their light attributes. You've got 2 of Pentacles. So they're very balanced, and they can sort of split their attention. They can do 2 things at once. So if they're at a busy reception desk or a customer information thing, they can see to 2 people at once. So they can sort of be on the phone answering one query, and they can be sort of seeing to someone at the same time. And they can sort of multitask like that. Also, they're quite good with finances. They're very down to earth with finances. They do put some money aside to enjoy themselves, especially with their friends, and then they're also good at saving. And they can be quite funny as well, their observations, but it's almost like a quiet, you know, I think when it's just the 2 of you, it's like quiet and serious observations. But when they're around people, it's almost like they're making, you know, they're what's the word? They're a little bit louder, but also sort of more flirty or more fun observations. They could be a bit of the comedian in their group of friends. So when it comes to their shadow attributes, you got the Captain of Airships reversed. This would be the King of Swords reversed. So they are actually very, very controlling. They can be very hurtful with their words because they're good with people. They kind of know what makes people tick, and they can have very pointed insults or very sneaky insults that can really, really hurt you or hurt those that you care about. I think they're also quite kind of not really cold, but they run hot and cold. So you kind of don't always know when they, there's sometimes where they'll make fun of their friends, and if you join in, they're gonna get annoyed with you, or one day they'll find something funny, and the next day they'll kind of like, call you out on it, or just kind of make you feel bad for saying the same thing they said the day before. But also I think they don't like you to touch their things, or things need to be in a certain way, and they do often have secrets that they don't want to tell you, and I think it comes from those friendships as well. It's kind of weird. They could actually be in the military, or police, or some other kind of public service role where they wear a uniform and they work in a group or a team that are very close and who depend a lot on each other for safety and security and for getting through the day. And it could be something like that that makes them this way. They kind of closed off to you at times when you don't really want them to be, and they can be kind of dismissive of your fears or of your ideas. And then the other times, they're really, really good with you. And I feel they're really good with children, but perhaps less lenient with you when it comes to mistakes or things that you say. And for some of you, they pick on your accent, or they pick on your level of education, and I think that really, really hurts you. So let's look at their more about their positive and shadow attributes. So they're positive, they make you feel protective. They can be, they could be very quick to defend you against people that are hurting you, or people that are kind of putting you down. It's kind of like they can do it, but others can't. And I feel that there's a group of people, and it could even be your family, that they're good at defending you from, or making you, standing up for you. Also, I feel that they make you feel safe. And personality wise, they also kind of territorial and protective. And not a lot of people will want to kind of take them on in an argument, or even in a kind of a physical fight. They kind of have that kind of intimidating aspect to them, and sort of it just makes you feel, or makes people around them feel safer. And then their shadow attributes. Intuition is actually a very good card, but they might, like I said, they know people very well, and they can kind of either use what they suspect against people. So they might dig into other people's affairs where perhaps they don't, if they intuitively pick up something, they might take it further. And sometimes it can be very uncomfortable for you, and it can be very sort of intrusive of them. Also, they trust their intuition at times more than they trust you, and you may feel that the decisions that they're making are not rational. They may be, or you can't follow their logic, and that really kind of upsets you, because the consequences of it can vary. Even though generally it's quite good, there are times when it's really, really upsetting for you and those people around you. And I think this unpredictability is something that comes in very handy, or this intuition comes in very handy for their job, or whatever it is that they're doing. So let's look at when we come to the positive or light attributes with these cards. And we've got bide your time, a long awaited message, and family feud. So definitely they defend you against your family, or they defend you against their family. So when it comes to family, they're very good at taking your side, speaking up for you, or physically standing between you and people that intimidate you or scare you. And they will not hold it against you if you're busy and you don't have time to answer their text or to call them on the phone and things like that. They do trust you, but they you don't have to reply to them immediately. They understand when you're busy, but they are someone who takes action. They don't wait for the right time like one of the previous ones. They just they act when they feel the need to, and when their intuition tells them to, and they act very quickly and very decisively, and they can, like I said, do two things at once. They're patient with you when it comes to answering messages and stuff, and they stand up for you when it comes to family stuff. So their shadow attributes is because they have this two-sidedness. Like I said, you don't know if they're going to run hot or cold, if they're going to sort of snap your head off one day or kind of like laugh at what you say. It can be very unpredictable, and it can make you feel very uncomfortable. So sometimes they're very helpful and sometimes they're not. And the thing is that you can't depend on whether or not they're going to support you in something, and it's kind of inconsistent. They may also move very softly or in a kind of sneaky, kind of stealthy way, and it might sometimes shock you, when they kind of creep up behind you and go boo or whatever it is that they do. And also they're almost like a chameleon, in that if you didn't see what they were wearing when they left that day, you're not going to know what they look like. And I think there's a lots of times when you kind of mistaken someone else for them if you're meeting them out for tea or for dinner or something like that. And then forced friendships. I think, like I said, they're very much a people's person. They like being around people. They like being around a crowd. And some of those friendships you feel are very fake, and you might feel that they become someone's friend because there's something that they're trying to get from them. So you don't always trust that they have good motivations for becoming a friend or for forming friendships. So it's like you kind of distrust them or distrust their motives in being friends with someone who's not part of their clique. So it's for some of you as well, you're not really sure why they want to be with you, because you're so different and you don't seem to fit into their world very well. So that can be quite nerve-wracking, that kind of attribute where they don't actually tell you what it is that they love about you. And for some of you, it could be that you worry that they're growing apart and that they're just being good to you because it's a part of who they are or part of who they're expected to be. So if that's the case, then probably you want to look at one of the other readings I have for you or get a personal reading. But there's something here which makes you feel that the relationship is forced. So let's look at the crest for the Holy Pair. Let's see what information or what message we have for you more about them here. And let's see. So we got the first off here. Emrys walked in a stupor, his arms tucked under Kelly's, hoping his mouth was making all the right sounds. His hearing seemed to be turning on and off with the thunder of blood to his ears, so that Kelly's dulcet tones produced only snatches of conversation. Never mind. Dita had a keen ear and would fill him in on what the high priestess of this quaint planet was saying. He hardly registered the restlessness of parchment in his shirt pocket. So, they are extremely attractive to the point where people get totally distracted by them, and perhaps you are extremely attractive and they are totally enamored of you. But I don't get that feeling. I get more like you're the one who kind of forgets what you were thinking or forgets what you were saying when they give you their full attention. And for some of you, they may rely on you to remember things because they're so busy kind of playing a role or so busy trying to fit in and form a friendship. And at other times, it could be that you have to kind of get someone to keep track, or you have a friend who keeps track of things because you forget what they say, or you kind of lose yourself in them so much that you kind of lose your identity or you lose your judgment. So they have this very strong effect on you, and others who love you may try to warn you about any toxicity in the relationship or any kind of red flags that the relationship is becoming a bit unhealthy. And it's important for you to pay attention to that, because their shadow side is something that people don't generally see, and it could be that they are extremely controlling in your private life, and that's never a good thing. So I hope that's helpful, and if you do need help, if you do need someone to talk to, if you do need clarification, please make sure that you get it, preferably from a professional if you can. So good luck for option number 2, which was the Amethyst. So also to remind you that if you are looking for other general readings that are maybe a little bit more specific, then do think about becoming a Patreon with me this September, and you can get 2 free bonuses, including a free mini reading and a subscription to Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores. The link is down below, and subscriptions start from $1 for if you're just reading stories, and from $2 if you're going to be downloading audios, and that's $2 a month. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon as well. Then we're going to go on to option number 3, and this is the River Stone. So actually it could be, like I said, a fjord stone. I think I picked it up in Sky somewhere. Sorry, I'm just going to have a drink of water before we start. So let's look at the light and shadow attributes of your future spouse. So overall, we've got wedding. So this is a very committed person. They, once they give you your word, they're going to follow it through no matter what. Promise is a promise is something they probably always say. Whether that's a promise to do good or a promise to do bad, they're just going to go with their word. They're also very traditional. They wouldn't want to have just a live-in relationship with you. For them a love partnership is a marriage, one that they're going to give their wholehearted life to. And it's the same thing with their job. Whatever it is they committed to, or whoever they committed to, they're going to give 100%. And this can mean that they can compartmentalize their life if they need to, so that they can give their full focus at different times to different things or different people. So their light attributes, we've got the Queen of Wands reversed. So they can be very, very creative, but maybe in a very oddball or quirky way, or a way which defies gender. And they can also be very good at sort of putting themselves in someone else's shoes and then using that to create understanding or to create something of great beauty, or to communicate something which others may find very difficult to express. For example, I get that they might be an artist, some form of visual artist or a filmmaker, or if they don't do that, if they don't do that in their work, then they do it as a hobby, or they do it to help people. So they could also be in drama or something like that, where they help create something or help communicate something using art or some kind of other visual form. They're extremely passionate, but you don't actually see it except maybe in their eyes. They're very controlled otherwise, and I think they can be a little bit explosive as well. They go through periods of action and inaction, and I think generally it balances out. So I keep seeing someone behind the scenes, like behind the scenes of a stage or an event or a show or something like that. So they're very organized. They can make a group of people work very well together in whatever it is that they're doing, because they're so committed to the outcome and things going so well. So their shadow attributes, we've got the king of the captain of Leviathans, which is the king of Pentacles in this deck, and they can be very pompous. They can be very sort of, the word alluring is coming up, but they can do that in a way that is kind of, they can use their presence or their body to intimidate people, or to get people to kind of to influence people. Also, they love attention, or they love a certain kind of attention, and they expect people to give them that attention. So they can be a bit of a prima donna or a bit of a diva, kind of have that kind of complex. And they also expect to have absolute quiet when they talk, or they expect absolute respect when they're speaking, or when they are communicating something, even in their private life. So this isn't someone that you want to interrupt while they're talking, because they could very quickly kind of, like I say, kind of explode a little bit, or kind of react in a way which is kind of over the top. They also like to splurge on things that are very sort of materialistic, and if you're more spiritual, this might annoy you. They may not always take into account things like being green or ecologically friendly. And for some of you, this is the kind of person that drives around in the when it's back to back gridlocked traffic in a Ferrari. Don't know if you've ever had, if you've ever been stuck behind one of those in heavy traffic, like I had once or twice, and all you get is fumes and noise, and it's really, really awful if you're around that. So they can be a little bit showy and inconsiderate of people and the environment in that way. So let's look at what else we can find out about them. We've got exaltation reversed, and we've got detachment. So their light side is that it's a counterpoint to that one. They even though they have this like pompous kind of showy side, that comes to their personal things and maybe the way they present themselves, and they do want attention. But their light attribute is that when they're not playing a role, or when they're not out for the night or whatever, they're very happy to share the limelight with others. They're very happy to give credit where credit is due. They're very happy to work and collaborate with others, and even at times be sort of sidelined or be unacknowledged in input or their contribution to things, and it's very, very different from this. This is like personal and has to do with their self-image and sense of worth. This has to do with their sense of satisfaction and their sense of happiness. So they will be very, very supportive of you if you are doing something which they thought was worthwhile and something which they thought would give a lot of happiness to you and the world at large. So it's almost like this aspect of themselves is balanced by you or others around them making up for it. So for example, if you wanted something and it was green or somehow counteracted their Ferrari or whatever, they would be very happy and support you in it, as long as they could still drive their Ferrari, you know. So it's going to take some balancing there. So you can say, let's live in a tiny house, and you can still have your Ferrari, and they would have probably a garage bigger than your tiny house, but they'd be happy enough to live with it, you know, living up with you, as long as they had their toys. So very interesting. And then their shadow attribute is detachment. So there are times when they can be very, very arrogant, like I said, and very sort of not unfeeling, but kind of inconsiderate of people around them, and they actually don't care at that point. They don't care what people say. They don't care how it's impacting any message or something that they're sending. And it's like I said, they can compartmentalize aspects of themselves or aspects of their lives or aspects of their days, so that it's not that they're appearing as different people at different times. It's that they can react or respond in different ways to different people. So I feel generally they're quite consistent in one sort of line, in one compartment, but if you start jumping compartments, they can be a little bit inconsistent, and they, you know, what's most important for them is being committed and getting things done their way. And if that means that something needs to be done that they're committed to, and it means getting rid of their Ferrari or whatever that toy was, they will do it for that time. They can let it go. They can move on. But in a few months or in a day, or when they recovered from it, they're going to get something better than that Ferrari, and it doesn't matter how much it costs, or you know, or whatever, because they can kind of let things go when they really, really need to. So I hope that's making sense. Very interesting, and this is getting really, really long. This was supposed to be a short reading. So let's look at this quickly. So their positive attributes is, we've got a unexpected adventure, healing reversed, and the truth. So they're very truthful. They tell you things straight up. They may even tell you things so baldly that it may hurt, or you could think, well, doesn't this person have an ounce of diplomacy or an ounce of diplomacy. And it's not that they're trying to hurt people, it's just that they want to tell you the bald truth, or they expect you to be able to deal with the truth as it stands, because they believe that it's healing, and you may not always feel it's so. But they love adventure, and they love taking you on adventures, and they can be very, very spontaneous to everyone's shock or surprise or delight. You know, they can be very good at punning, or they can be very good at giving talks or speeches that keeps everyone sort of very entertained, but aware of the truth and aware of shortcomings in a system, or shortcomings in whatever it is that they're at. And they're, you know, even if they're at an award ceremony, or if they're addressing people that are very, very prominent, they're gonna just speak their truth, and they're gonna say what they want. And or they're not going to always say what they want. They're going to say what needs to be said, which is quite different in a way, because like I said, they're committed, and when they're committed to something, it doesn't matter what they have to do to get the outcome that they're wanting or expecting or needing to have. But they don't lie about it, and they don't lie. They will use humor, and they will use a kind of straight talk to kind of get their way at times. And they're very quick thinkers. You know, they kind of really it's very hard to get the better of them mentally when they bother to argue, because there are times when they don't bother because it's a waste of energy, and it's not getting the job done in the team or getting the message across, and they will just continue doing what they want. So their shadow aspects, we've got chi reversed, we've got a long-awaited message, and we've got sudden love. So this is the person who could take a long time to reply to your messages, or sometimes not reply at all. And it's not that they didn't get it, it's that they didn't think it was important, or they were busy with something else. It wasn't a priority at that time to respond to it. So it's not that they won't respond to emergencies, or they won't respond to any emotional distress or anything else that's like, really important. But if you're going to just send them a lovey-dovey message in the middle of the day, don't expect one back from them, because they may be in a meeting, or they kind of, you know, they kind of committed to something else at that moment. You're not in that compartment that they're in. So when it comes to chi, they could get exhausted at times and just totally crash. And if you are very intuitive, and you're used to feeling some kind of intuitive or psychic connection with them, there's times when they could totally drop off your radar, and it can be alarming for you, and you don't really feel them around. So they have this funny kind of switching of energy at times, or crashing of energy. And they would often need their alone time, and if they don't get that alone time, I think they can get very, very tetchy and annoying, or annoyed with you, and they need to sort of regenerate their energy. And then sudden love reverse. So they very sudden, you know, very seldom say that they love you, or they rather show it to you, and they very seldom fall in love very quickly, or express love in the way that you want quickly. They're not romantic in the way that you want them to be. They are spontaneous, but it's more like, you know, instead of taking you away to an island getaway, they might pack up the bags and take you away to go, I don't know, someplace muddy to camp. Okay, so it's like an adventure, but it's not always romantic, and it's not always what you are wanting or expecting. And it doesn't mean that it's not fun. It just means that it's unexpected, and that you can often be disappointed by their lack of romance. So let's take one of this side, what your message is. So you've got two nurses dressed in wimples arrived then, wheeling the friendly gnome away with smiles and reassurances before Emrys could quite comprehend. So they're very good at managing people and managing situations. They're very organized. They're very good at organizing people. And like I said, you know, it's like they're a stage manager or something like that, or they could do that role very easily. And they're very good at caring for people and getting what needs to be done so quickly and efficiently that it can leave you breathless, or it can leave you confused even, because you kind of thought you had more time to do something. And one tip for you is, if you ever need to clean up home, and they love having a clean home, then you should never leave it for the end of the day just before you're expecting them to come home, because they will kind of catch you out in it. So they're very caring, and the people feel very kind of safe with them. They're nurturing, and they also kind of very friendly, with a very odd sense of humor, but also quite sweet at times. So this is what I have for you if you chose the Riverstone. So I hope this was interesting. It's a lot longer than I thought it would be, so I was hoping it would be shorter, but I hope you got a lot to think about and you got a lot of information from that. And do remember to please check out my my book Quest for the Holy Pale and find out about all the characters. It's a lot of fun. It's been likened to eating ice cream and cake, which is awesome. And don't forget as well to look at my Patreon, where we have a special this September where you can get 2 bonuses if you sign up to any tier. And the one is a free mini reading, and the other is a subscription to Cosmic Roots and Eldritch Shores. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, have fun, and I'll catch you soon. Keep those vibes high. Bye.